Well, it's that time of the year again. We're talking school exams, and this is when pupils need all the assistance that they can get to be fully prepared for their examinations. Now, DJ Murray Trust says significant educational progress can be made if telecoms operators play their part. Now, the Trust wants educational websites to be zero-rated, so even poor students can access the information. For more on this, I'm joined by the CEO of the DJ Murray Trust, Dr. David Harrison. A very good morning to you, Doctor. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Now, for those who may not be tech savvy and who might have missed the fact that, many websites were actually zero-rated during COVID-19, when we use the phrase zero-rated, what exactly do we mean?
Yes, this has not got to do with any zero rating related to VAT. This is more substantial. We all know that when we use our cell phones or when we use our computers, we have to pay for data. Data in South Africa is very expensive. And so what we have been arguing for is that the digital content, the data of websites that are to do with bringing training and education and opportunity to young people, all of the services that are provided in the non-profit sector should be made available at no cost to user. In other words, the network operator would not derive any revenue from the digital content of those websites. And that's termed zero rating.
So as far as the telecoms companies are concerned, we're talking the Vodacoms, the MTNs, the Cell Cs, etc. Have you been having discussions with them regarding this? Because ultimately they are businesses, and perhaps their main priority is to ensure that they have a profit to report and are able to pay their shareholders dividends.
Well, Tommy, I'm pleased to say that we've actually made a lot more progress than simply urging them to zero rates. I mean, COVID was terrible, but it was also a massive revelation of how things can be done better in South Africa. And one of those was the introduction of zero rating of educational and health websites to try and help people at the time of COVID. And that sparks the idea to say, well, why did we include zero rating as a condition of service in the license condition of the network operators who were bidding for 5G spectrum? So in fact, we have that in place. We have that condition already in place. Those of the network operators, which is all of them, that bid for license. And receive those licenses as part of that license condition, they're obliged to zero rate the websites of the digital content of public benefit organizations and of .gov websites. So it's all in place. It just what has happened is that was in place almost a year ago now, and there's been very little progress. Part of it is that there's been delays in the signing of the contracts between ICASA and the network operators. But what we've seen over time is that some of the websites that were zero rated through the disaster regulations have been delisted by the network operators, and many of the others that are seeking to get zero rated have not been able to get zero rated. So we came up with the idea of an innovation registry, just a registry of all the names of public benefit organizations that wanted to be zero rated with their technical content, that we could act as a single interface between the public benefit organization community in South Africa, which is big, and network operators. Unfortunately, we made that offer to the network operators, and there hasn't been any response to it.
And what do you make of the silence? Because based on what you're saying, there obviously is clearly an appetite to be of public service. they're not really seeing this as something that will be detrimental to their purse, but rather something that will add value to the community. What do you make of their silence for this new step that you've now proposed?
I don't want to second guess motivations, but perhaps the most generous interpretation is that they're just busy trying to put the rest of the elements in place. But all of them know, because all of them had that experience during the COVID pandemic, how frenetic, how disorganized it can be if every single public benefit organization comes to you, comes to the network operator and asks to be zero rated. So I'm hoping it's simply a matter of minds being applied elsewhere. And that now, as we have built this registry and we are getting the lists, many public benefit organizations coming to register, we will be putting their names to the network operators and say, in terms of the license condition, you are obliged to register. We would like to work with you to make this easier for you. We're happy to do the monitoring. We're hoping that that's the sort of relationship we'll have with the network operators. At the very least, we're going to play the role of a watchdog. We're going to play the role as the custodian on behalf of the public benefit organizations and require those network operators to zero rate their digital content, failing which we will need to refer it back to ICASA.
And them being the communications, registrar, they would be the ones really, I think, to, use the whip if needs be. But before I let you go this morning, talk to us about the innovation registry that you've put together. You say you've managed to get a lot of PBOs on board. What is the diverse nature of the services that they offer?
Well, some of them are focused on very young children, and they're trying to work with parents and with moms who just need to be connected to a network of support. Some of them are focused on early language development and reading and are bringing stories into the lives of children. Some of them are focused on developing the training and the education for early learning practitioners. Others are aimed at teachers. Others are aimed at young people who are seeking to develop their skills or to connect into the world of work. This is the diversity of functions that could be transformational. Tommy, in South Africa, we have so many divides that are difficult to bridge. The digital divide is a massive divide, but it's also a huge opportunity because there are these bridges. There are ways of overcoming some of the past of apartheid in a very short period of time if we seize the opportunities that come our way. All of these that I've described are mechanisms for improving the welfare of our community, and it's something that we need to do now.